Bayad siya ng magkano ang tubig sa atin? Mga G's. Ayun. Pinagbayad siya doon. Pinalista yung pangalan niya. Hindi pala. Baka ma-print na yung mukha mo tapos ilagay ka sa snatch sa shoplifters.
Tubig naman yun.
Kaya abnormal yun.
Anthony of flood disaster, Tale of Talisay and Cagayan de Oro City. Wow.
Medyo nakakahiya yun.
Klase kong high school. High school pa yun. Sobrang kalabawan.
High school naman.
Gusto kong pugutan ng ulo ang ating mga politician. Dapat kasi yung mga urban planner talaga ang nagpa-plan ng mga politiko. Ay, sorry! Sorry naman kasi meron akong join na okay, ayan, regional planning na tayo guys. So, ibig sabihin, natapos na tayo sa master plan. So, lumalaki na. So, ibig sabihin, pag nagre-regional planning, meaning, series of probinsya. Okay, pag region 3, anong mga probinsya nandoon?
Bataan, Bulacan.
Bataan, Bulacan, Zambales, Tarlac, Nueva Aurora, di ba region 3 yan? Bulacan. Okay, kung saan napakarami ng mga flood
Control.
Kasi, sabi ko nga, ang nagpaplano ay mga politiko. Which is dapat hindi. Dapat planner. Kaya nga tayo nag-aaral eh. Tayo dapat dun. Sorry po. Okay, sige guys. Hindi ko pwedeng hindi ako mag-attend. Ano lang ako, mapapa-attendance lang ako. Okay, comprehensive regional plan. So we have, okay, malaki na scope. Okay, ang planning, city planning, town planning, all the same. Patrick Gides, okay, ano ang theory niya? He said physical planning could not improve urban living conditions. Dali lang guys. It needs to be integrated social economic planning in context. Okay. Guys, ganito yon. The main reason kung bakit ako kumuha ng ENP, akala ko dati purely urban design lang. Physical. Means, dinodrawing. Katulad nakita nyo kanina, nagsuzoning-zoning ka lang, ganyan-ganyan. Nasabi mo lang kung saan yung lugar ng blah blah blah. But, mamaya, or kung kaya natin, mukhang madami-dami yun, ano ba talagang pinaplano? Minsan, hindi mo nakikita yung plano sa mismong map, yung mismong drawing. You need to plan them by policy. Ano yung policy? Policy means mga batas, mga ordinansa, mga ano natin, sangguniang bayan, blah blah blah. Those are policies, social, economic. Kunwari na-realize ng inyong bayan na, oops, kailangan pala natin magkaroon ng bicycle lane. Anong gusto nyo i-improve? Health. Gusto nyo bawasan yung dami ng mga emissions from the mga sasakyan? Tinatry ninyo na mag-unite ang mga tao, magkita sila through those. Okay? Okay. So kung meron kang bike lane o meron kang sidewalk, anong dapat mong gawin? Pagagandahin. Pag pinaganda mo, may pondo. Economic yun. Okay? Okay, sige. Bayan tayo. Kailangan ko ng bike lane at saka magandang sidewalk. Pag nag-invest ba ako, pinondohan ako ng gobyerno ng, let's say, sabihin mo ng 50 million, ano nang balik doon? Kikita ba ako? Mga economic managers natin, kinukuha nila lahat yun. Yung benefit sa health ng tao na hindi pumupunta sa ospital kasi healthy na sila. Yung dumami yung business sa tabi ng kalsada para i-accommodate yung mga taong dumadaan doon. Okay? Yung tax na nakukuha nila kapag nag-renew ang mga tao ng mga vehicle na hindi pumasa sa emission testing. So meron na-generate na pondo. Wherein, yung pondo na yun, babalik doon sa ginastos para sa pagpapaganda. Okay guys, hindi ko sinabing totally hindi maganda ang palakad ng mga government official. Marami talaga silang
Nagpo-focus
inisip.
dito.
Pagpapatayo ng mga rural health centers, kasama yan sa planning. Okay. Kailangan ba sa population na ito, 250 na yung population natin, ano ba? Ilang beds ng hospital dapat meron? Eh kung malayo ako sa pinaka-city, kung nasaan yung provincial hospital, aba, kung mag-travel ako ng 2 oras o 3 oras sa daan, at kung saan-saan ako sanga-sangang pupunta, baka patay na yung pasyente ko bago makarating sa provincial hospital. Yun ang mga pinaplan. Okay? So, multidimensional. Tama si Gides. Hindi lang sa maganda sa papel ang planning. It has to look at the social and economic. Okay? So, those are the way how we are going to do the regional planning. It's more on the policy na. Okay? Ang sabi dyan, bago ka magplano, bago ka mag-drawing, kilalanin mo muna ang pangangailangan ng area mo. Survey for plan. Okay, guys, paano natin nakikilala? Okay, let's say, you're an urban plan. Planner na kayo eh. Oh? Hindi lang kayo arkitekto, kaya nyo gumawa ng urban design, kaya nyo gumawa ng urban plan. Pero paano nyo nakikilala? Kung ano ang dapat nyo i-drawing? Anong ilalagay nyo sa papel? Kung hindi kayo magsusurvey. Kaya may mga, sa mga opisina, sa mga munisipyo, sa city, meron kang tinatawag na MPDO, Municipal Planning and Development Office. Sila yung pumupunta, nagsusurvey sa mga tao, anong mga pangangailangan nila. Sila rin yung nagsusurvey sa mga tricycle driver. Sila rin nagsusurvey doon sa mga mga maternity wards. Ilan yung namamatay, ilan yung nadadagdag sa population, ilan yung umaalis sa munisipyo o sa city because kulang ang trabaho, nagmamigrate sa ibang lugar, blah, 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 and everything. So lahat ng datos, lahat ng data, kinokolekta ng planning officer. Which is, yun ang magpo-provide ng information paano nyo i-deploy. Let's say, kung ang plano ng munisipyo ninyo ng certain zone ng commercial is dati nasa interior. Interior lang, ibig sabihin, malapit lang sa plaza. Okay. Pero meron kayo isang highway, may bypass road, na dumadami na ang mga may bahay doon. And then they realize na, oops, hindi na purely residential yung zoning nito. Sa tabi ng kalsada, di ba sabi natin, linear city. Di ba? Yung tabi ng kalsada, pinagsisimula ng development. So once na nag-develop doon at dumami ang population, kailangan mo ng tindahan. Kung dati-dating sari-sari store, dati-dating kubol lang ng mga restaurant o karinderya, nung dumami na ang population, hindi ka na basta-basta sari-sari na lang. Convenience store ka na siguro, may 7-Eleven. Paano kung madami ng 7-Eleven, nagkukompetensya na, iba-iba na, dali and whatever, all day. O kailangan mo na siguro, oops, teka, base sa market study, pwede ako maglagay ng Jollibee. Kita ninyo, yung evolution ng development, 2 years, napakabilis ng development na yan. Okay. Then, the municipal city, they realize, teka, itong area na to, hindi na siya agricultural land, ang zoning niya hindi na residential, ilalagay na natin siya as light industry or commercial. So those are the decisions that you need to go, you need to survey before that. Okay? Alright. So, we have, ito yung book na sinulat niya, Cities in Evolution 1950. He coined the term conurbation. Okay, I'm giving you a very good example of urban conurbation. Dati, pag sinabi natin Maynila, ang Maynila, nung panahon ng mga Kastila, ang Maynila ay Maynila lang. Malapit sa Wall Intramuros. Okay? And then, nung panahon ng mga Amerikano, ang Maynila ay nag-expand yung ngayong Luneta, which is designed by Daniel Burnham. Yun na yun, Manila. Wala pang Quezon City. Okay? Wala pang Ayala, Makati City. Alam nyo ba, ang Makati ay talahiban ng araw? Nung panahon na ang sentro ng komersyo ay Escolta. Okay. So, ang ibig sabihin dito ay nung umusbong na mga development at may mga industrial sites at dumami na ang mga tao, pagka let's say ito yung circle, di ba? Ito yung kanina Garden City, no? Pag dumami yung Central City, tsaka yung satellite, lumaki, halos nag-overlap na yung population, halos wala kang makikitang greenery. That's what you call conurbation. Nagdidikit-dikit na ang mga built up. Nawawala na ang mga green open space. That is what happened when, up to now, right now, ang Metro Manila, Greater Metro Manila, ay mula Malolos hanggang Dasmariñas, Cavite. Yan ang Greater Manila. Hindi mo na yan iisipin as probinsya. Pag nasa Cavite ka na, mula Bacoor hanggang Dasmariñas, halos hindi mo na makikilala na nasa probinsya ka pa. Eh lalo na ngayon, pumunta ka ng Silay, ng Tagaytay, halos wala ka na halos. Hindi mo na ma-realize na itong mga daan, ay, nasa taas na pala ako ng bundok. Pero simentado na halos lahat. Eh lalo na yung ating magaling na senador, na Villar. Yung mga kinumbert niya, mga daang reyna, daang hari, daang prinsipe, o whatever. So dumami na ang build up, di ba? So nagpatayo na ng kung ano-ano mga settlements. So that's what you call conurbation. That is what we call urban conurbation. Okay? So the concept is there is an inflow of products, then there will come a build up of population, then eventually there will be a build up of population, eventually nagkakaroon ng decay. We call it urban sprawl, or it's a increase of central slum or central urban blight. Pag sinabi natin blight, eyesore. Ano natin makita kasi pangit. Dilapidated ang mga building, sira-sira ang mga daan, may mga bako-bako na, may mga pothole na. Kasi nga, hindi na ma-develop dahil nga sobrang dami na ng tao. Okay? Then you have all of these notable people. So you have Patrick Accombri. So lahat ng mga concept na yan, dinala niya sa Britain. Anglo-American means England-American period of development. So he did this Greater London Plan of 1944, before the war. Okay? And then you have Louis Mumford. He's a follower of Gillies, who wrote The Culture of Cities. This is the Bible of the regional planning movement. Okay? So the way that I'm explaining it to you, that planning is not only just for physical framework planning, but of course, surveying the conditions of the society at large in every other sectors like social, economic, environmental, rolled into one. That becomes your culture of cities. Okay? Another theory, okay, Louis Mumford. So now, we are going to look into the evolution of planning in the many parts of the world. So we start with America. In America, okay, you have this organic city. So you have what we call the burg, military town. Kanina, sa Roman planning, Oppidum and Castrum. Oppidum is the commercial and Castrum is the military outpost. In the other side of the world, in America, we call it the Bogue. Bogue is the military town, and Pabug is the citizen town or community. Of course, when you say citizen town, that means a combination of economic factors like commercial spaces, social needs, social infrastructures, plaza, and open spaces. So, medieval Bastide is from France, no? That's the idea means new towns. Meaning you're creating new towns out of the old ones. So, in the same way that we have created Clark City as a new center of commerce, is the idea of medieval Bastide. Okay? Then, the Spanish law in this, through the auspices of King Philip II, that produced this type of town. Pueblo, civic center. Presidio means the military outpost, and a combination of religious, church. So ngayon, kung makikita natin sa Pilipinas, lahat ng town and cities natin ay a product of this law of the Indies. We have a plaza, we have a police station, or the administrative center city hall, we have the church, and then we have the pueblo or civic center. Siyempre, civic center is the exchange of goods or markets, right? Alright, so we have here an example in England towns in 17th century. Guys, sa history ng Amerika, it was actually a settlement that is divided by the English and the Spanish. Okay, may mga area sa Amerika wherein was first established by the Spanish colonizers. May mga area naman na established by English colonizers. Kaya meron silang civil war noong araw. Naalala ninyo, North and South? Pag nanonood kayo ng mga pelikula noong araw, merong civil war inside because it's the northern forces against southern forces, no? Ngayon, dun sa area na kung saan kinolonize ng mga English or European settlers, there is what we call New England. Kita ninyo yung mga, lahat ng mga states sa US, when you say New York, New Hampshire, basta New Jersey, tanggalin nyo yung mga new. Ito yung mga cities na makikita ninyo sa England. Okay? So when they go to this, alam nyo yung pelikula ni Tom Cruise nung araw, tsaka ni Nicole Kidman, yung what do you call this? Parang far away or whatever. Basta, homestead. Ang idea ng homestead, ginawa natin sa Pilipinas. Ang idea ng homestead, alam nyo yung area ng Mindanao, is a very vast land. Yung mga kapatid nating mga mga taga Mindanao, hindi nila ganong dinevelop yung mga open areas. So, ang ginawa ni Apo Makoy nung araw, ni-require niya na yung mga Ilocano, Ilonggo, mga Cebuano, na mag-migrate sa Mindanao para matamnan ang maraming kalupaan doon at ma-improve ang ating Green Revolution, food production. Okay? Actually, yan yung issue na hanggang ngayon ay problema pa rin ng Pilipinas when it comes to security. Iniisip kasi ng mga kapatid nating mga taga Mindanao na inagawan sila ng lupa. Okay? Yung pag-aalaw ng mga settlements ng mga Ilocano, Ilonggo, Cebuano, Kapampangan doon sa mga area na yon, ang tinatawag nating homestead. Whatever you see by your eyes na kaya mong i-develop ito ang agricultural land, it's yours. That's how it is ng araw. May mga titulo ang mga tao doon. Makita nyo, General Santos ay puro mga, tama ba, Ilocano halos lahat ng mga nagsasalita doon. Okay? So they settled there. It's a new city, hindi ba Bastide, na nilagay doon to develop, and then dumami ang tao, there is a production, and blah blah blah, boom. Settlement. Okay. So that's how you are going to see the idea that came from the planning regional. Then Philadelphia was developed by William Penn. Okay, Philadelphia is in Pennsylvania, kaya nga Penn, Pennsylvania. Okay, so designed by William Penn. So this is a town. So that's how he divided by the Tignan ninyo, pag suzonin niya, grid. So bawat bloke merong dedicated na mga areas. Either economic, commercial, social, okay? Then you have the English Renaissance, European planned cities like yan, mga Savannah, Charleston, Annapolis, mga capital cities ng states sa Amerika, may mga itsura talaga. You know what? We call this, pag ganito may mga design, may mga patterns yung pag-design ng mga town or city. At tawag namin sa planning yan, spatial. Spatial configuration. Space. From the word space. And then, pag sinabi mong spatial, yung C, tatanggalin mo yung C, gagawin mong T. Kaya spatial. Okay? Kaya ngayon, ang mga nagpaplano ng mga cities, kailangan mo magamit ng software, GIS, correct? Oh, that's how you're going to interpolate and you will actually predict how the city is growing. Saan direction sila pupunta. Okay, so ayun. So you have this, Savannah, the world's largest official recognized historical district. Then you have Annapolis, then you have Williamsburg. Okay, so ganyan ang mga original na configuration. So yung mga linya na nakikita nyo, mga sticks yun. Okay. Then you have this in Washington, D.C. Yun na nga, in the mall. Ito, buo, the mall. From here, going there. Okay? And then, only punctuated on center by this obelisk. Okay? So you have Washington D.C. reflecting pool and the Lincoln Memorial extending to the central axis. So that is a Gregorian approach by Le Enfant in 1796 in Washington, D.C. Okay, so yan yung itsura. Now, because of the French Baroque planning of vistas like Promenade, Avenue, Boulevard, it was adopted into City Beautiful movement by Daniel Burnham. So this is the golden age of urban design. Okay. Natatandaan pa ba natin ang meaning ng ang pagkakaiba ng urban design sa urban plan? Do you remember? Urban design is yun yung mga palamuti, ornament. Pero ang skeleton ninyo is yung urban plan. Correct? Gets? Okay. So ngayon, ito yung palamuti. City Beautiful Movement. Anong ipapalamuti mo? Maglalagay ka ng mga monumento, maglalagay ka ng mga gardens, ng mga reflecting pools, ng mga fountains and everything para gumanda siya. Kaya nga City Beautiful Movement. Okay? So it's highly ambitious and grand formal design. Bakit? Ba't nila ginawa yan? Kasi nga, sabi natin, ang issue sa England is nung naglagay sila ng development due to the industrialization, dumami ang tao, dumami ang slum, ngayon, definitely yung mga may kaya, umalis. Totally, tinanggal nila ang business nila sa sentro. So kapag nawala ang business doon, magkakaroon ng urban blight, eyesore. Wala ng maintenance, wala ng pagbabago, yung mga sira doon hindi na kinukumpuni. So definitely, kapag ang area ay pangit, hindi pupuntahan. Mamamatay ang negosyo. Correct? So para kang nagkaroon ng isang city na biglang namatay yung sentro, parang donut. Gets? Ngayon, yung mga pinupuntahan ng mga tao, yun naman new town. Yun ang pupuntahan nila. Okay? Now, ito ang solusyon ni Daniel Burnham na bubuhayin niya yung sentro. Pagagandahin niya ang sentro at ngayon, ang tendency was na pinaganda mo ang sentro, babalik ang negosyo, babalik ang mga industrialists. Gets? Okay. Once na bumalik doon, then definitely babalik yung mga may kaya. Yung mga area na dating dilapidated, definitely nung nawala yung mga negosyo at mga commercial doon, umalis din yung mga workers, correct? So naiwan na dilapidated yung mga area. So bagong construction lahat and everything. So ngayon, kung ang population mo ay mga mayayaman, ano expect mo? Definitely, hindi ka papasok doon kasi mayamang area na yun. Kung hindi mo kaya, hindi mo afford, wala kang resource. Correct? So yun ang issue. Yun ang naging problema ng City Beautiful movement ng kalaunan. So medyo nagkaroon ng what do you call this? Hindi naging inclusive ang development. Kasi may isang sector lang ng lipunan ang pwede maka-access. Okay? Yes. Ganito kasi yun itong issue. The cities are overpopulated, the cities are very poorly planned, cities develop ng basta-basta tachi-tachi, no? Ad hoc. And then shapeless, inefficient, ugly, walang figura. Okay? So yun yung problema, kaya yan yung naisip ni Daniel Burnham. So he started it with Chicago. Before the City Beautiful movement in 1900, by the way, The name Chicago is actually a name because of the sound of train. Okay. Dahil noong nagkaroon ng expansion sa US, connecting the east to the west, the government then, the presidents, the American presidents, created what you call this train system. Marami silang tinumbang mga puno para i-develop yung mga train system. By the way, guys, there's a new movie, Train Dreams. Okay, it actually gives you the history of how the train buildings are in the very, very old America. Okay, so that's how it is. So, syempre, may center point. Okay, sa gitna ng East and West, Chicago. Ayan, nandiyan na lahat. Okay, actually, it's one of the largest city in the US right now. So the City Beautiful movement, okay, beautifying the area, okay, and it is actually equal to the European counterparts like Paris, so whatever, blah blah blah. Okay, pakipatay nyo na siguro, whatever. So we are actually blessed to have Daniel Burnham designing. We have Daniel Burnham designing the Luneta. Do you know that the Luneta is actually half lang yun, 50% realized. Hindi buong na-construct ang City Beautiful movement ni Daniel Burnham sa Manila. Kasi may mga nakaialam na mga politiko. Okay, alam na naman. Okay. Yung design naman ng Quezon Memorial Circle actually is an original idea from Daniel Burnham. Okay. Same lang din yung Burnham Park sa Baguio as a summer residence. Okay. So, kung paano ninyo nakikita ang luneta, mga design niya nung araw, and even yung mga magagong ornamentation, yan yung idea ni Daniel Burnham. Wide boulevards, public gathering, networks of parks and plazas, grand buildings na ngayon ay mga National Museum, tatlo yun, Neo. Tatlong araw akong umikot doon, bawat isang building, isang araw. Okay, and then you have this magnificent park. Then you have Washington DC, according to the principles of City Beautiful movement. By the way, Washington DC is in state of Maryland. Hindi doon sa state ng Washington, iba yun. Washington DC, when you look at the map of the US, is very near Virginia and New Jersey and New York. And then you have Maryland and Delaware. Okay. Then you have the City Beautiful movement of Manila. Ito ngayon, dati ito, nasunog ito, di ba? So ngayon, nire-reconstruct yan. And then ngayon, nilagyan ng maraming palamuti ni Yorme. Ako ay naglamierta sa Jones Bridge nung last na uwi ko at nagandahan ako ng gusto. So those are the City Beautiful. Quezon City is an original plan of Burnham. Okay? And then you have eto guys, pag tinanong sa inyo, sino ang nag-design ng Paris, all of this master development, huwag nyo sasagot na si Eiffel, ha? Yung tower lang.
Tower lang yan.
Tower lang ang dinesign ni Eiffel. But that is actually designed by Baron George Eugene Haussmann. Okay? Reconstruction of Paris. Okay? With all of those very good landmarks like the Triumphal Arch, the Champs-Élysées, and the Eiffel Tower. By the way, by next week, I will be attending a webinar about Haussmann. Okay, how he designed Paris. So that was 1900 to 1945. So he worked about this reconstruction of Paris. Again, totoo yung yung animated na movie, Ratatouille. Marami talagang daga noong araw before nila ni-reconstruct. Actually, if you go there to Paris, mapanghi ang amoy ng hangin doon. So sanitary, medyo issue.
Maganda talaga.
Pero you know, when they did the Olympics sa Paris, they cleaned the rivers, right?
Kaya.
Di ba nilangoyan nila yon? Pero alam nyo, before lalangoyan yan, nung sa Paris pala, Olympics, kapag malakas ang ulan, definitely sarado yon, hindi po pwede. Kasi na yung sewerage. Okay? Ngayon, binibigyan nila ng ng alert ang mga tao sa mga cellphone, sasabihin nila. Parang sa atin sa Pilipinas pag may mga bagyo, 'di ba may alert kayo tumutunog-tunog. May ganun din sila sa Paris. Tutunog kapag malinis ang ilog na 'yon, pwede kayong mag-swim. Totoo, nagsuswim sila doon. Okay? So they clean their rivers and everything, blah blah blah. So that is the development of Paris. It was done under the master plan design of Baron Haussmann. Okay, so in US you have this AP, American City Planning Institute, which is now American Planning Institute. Okay, so ayan, medyo ina-attenan ko rin yan ngayon. So marami rin silang pa-webinar. So it was 1970s. Okay, and then you have this first zoning regulation. Always remember this word, Euclid. That's the first zoning regulation which is constitutionally integrated in their constitution. So when 1920s regional planning began to grow, they first created it in New York City. So there is over 67 such agencies by 1913 up to now growing. Okay? Now, you have this conservationists and the park movement. Okay, ito. Maganda yung istorya na to. Alright, he is the father of park movement, si Frederick Law Olmsted. Okay. What he see, siya pala ang nag-design ng Central Park. Si Frederick Law Olmsted. Okay, alam niyo yan, sa pelikula, makakita kayo sa New York, dami-dami ng building, tas biglang may greenery, correct? Okay. Ang storya niyan is, nagpunta siya sa England, certain area sa England, na nakakita siya ng parang picturesque. No? I remember I have talked to you about picturesque movement. So nakita niya yan, yung ganyan estilo, at dinala niya yan sa Amerika. Yan yung, lahat na nakikita niyo sa Central Park, yan yung mga nakita niya sa England. Okay? Lahat ng element, natural pond, natural stream, may riverway, tapos may concrete bridge, okay? And then may mga monuments and everything. So, it's a breathing space, Central Park. So, urban park as an aid for social reform. Ibig sabihin, ng mga tao, sa sobrang dami ng trabaho nila sa New York, alam natin, New York is a city that never sleeps, then definitely they have open space where they can jump. Alam nyo, pag nasa loob kayo ng Central Park, hindi nyo isipin nandun kayo sa napakalaking city. Dahil napakalaki kasi ng park. Okay? Alright, so now, we go to the urban theories. Okay. Actually, si Constantine Diossadis, he's a Greek. Griego. Actually, yan, hindi naman matandang-matanda yan. Bata pa yan actually. Pero syempre, mga panahon ng 1800s to 1900s, okay? So, dinevelop niya yung echistic Greek. Okay, ano yun? It's the science of human settlement. So, ibig sabihin, housing. Guys, always remember human settlements. By the way, I'm a member of Eastern Regional Organization for Planning and Human Settlement, but it is concentrated in Southeast Asia. Okay. So, lahat ng housing issues and everything, blah, 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 pinag-uusapan ko. Okay? So, it's very important for him, that there must be a system of how we record all of these conditions of human settlements para maiwasan natin yung tinatawag natin urban blight because of the industrialization. Okay. Guys, alam nyo, iba na ngayon. Kung dati pinag-uusapan natin machine age, industrial age, meron din tayong Industrial Revolution 4.0. Meron na tayong Industrial Revolution 5.0. Ano yung 4.0? Automation. Means robotics, mechatronics, blah blah blah, and everything. When we started already, 4.0 is the invention of the computer. Dati-dati ang computer malaki, isang building. Okay? Noong araw 1940s and everything, blah blah blah, malaki. Hindi nagsimula ang computer kanino. Akala natin kay Apple and everything. No. It was an idea. Pinaliit lang niya yon. Noong araw, 1980s, 1990s, ang mga PC ang lalaki, ang bibigat. Okay, ngayon, you have this laptop, you have the iPad and everything, blah, blah, blah. Getting smaller, getting into gadgets. Okay? Now, what is 5.0? Hello? What is 5.0? Industrial Revolution 5.0. AI. That's very good. Okay. So meaning we are going to enter that age. Wherein the connection now is not anymore you see as gadgets or any tablets. The connection now is something about fiber optic, all air drops, whatever. Meron ka lang ganito, nakikita mo na parang Minority Report. Guys, napapansin nyo, puro pelikula sinasabi ko sa inyo. Because that is a reflection of things to come. Hindi guys, really, you need to be, alam nyo na, di ba? It connects eh. Okay? You know this Odyssey by Stanley Kubrick? Yung iPad, actually, doon unang nakita yon sila Steve Jobs. Na lumulutang-lutang sa space na ganon. Nakita nila yung parang gadget na ganon. 1980s yun, yung pelikulang yun. It actually says Space Odyssey 2001. It happens in real life. Yung mga Robocop na ganyan, yung mga lumilipad na mga taxi, now it's happening. So, innovations and inventors are actually taking ideas from, ideas. Noon, ang ideas are being presented by theories like this, by Constantine Diortalis. I mean written. But now ideas are being visual, audio. Okay? Not necessarily now written. Okay. So, yung mga unang mga nag-iisip ng mga innovators, like Constantine Diortalis, you have the existing grid. So, it's about the town planning wherein the main application is about human settlement. Okay. So now they have the New Communities Movement, early 1920s. So by Stein, Mumford, Ackerman, Christopher Alexander, it says a city is not a tree. Okay. So sabi kanina, hindi lang lagi maganda sa papel. It needs to become a living document. Means it's about surveying the people. Anong mga services ang kailangan to include in the development of the communities, residential community. So, ayan yung mga examples ng mga movements noong araw. You have a combination of all sorts. Circulation, pressing, you have grid forms and everything. You're now going to think about social spaces, zoning, traffic, transportation, everything, blah, blah, blah. Rolled into one. So you are now building your communities, okay? So you have the Radburn idea, the Newtown idea, which was first introduced by Clarence Stein. So you have the island of greens bordered by homes, and there is auto road. Okay. Auto road means, okay. Sino ang naka-invento ng automobile? Henry Ford. Am I right? Okay. Now, here comes the thing. This is the trivia. Kaya nga Henry Ford. Because of the Henry Ford idea, hindi Henry Ford Medina. Okay. Henry Ford, okay. It's like idea of paano lalago ang negosyo ko ng automobile. I have to talk to many politicians. building roads para dadami ang bibili ng sasakyan. It's more political. Now, here is the thing. Ano yung Michelin Guide? What is Michelin Guide? It's a guide where you are being directed to the best restaurants. Okay. Noong araw, Michelin is a tire manufacturer. Car tire manufacturer. Anong kinalaman ng isang manufacturer ng gulong sa paglilista ng mga best restaurant in the world? Kasi na, kapag meron akong automobile, at dahil magdadrive ako, malalaman ko kung saan ako pupuntang magagandang restaurant. Yun ang binibigay sa akin ng Michelin Guide. Okay. So you see, the idea of commercialism, first I invented a car, then I have to coax policymakers, government officials to create roads for my business and also other subsectors to create ecosystems of commercialism. Gets? Okay, so that's how it is. Sometimes we think that new developments are actually anchored to better our lives, but we didn't know that it's just a plan. Okay. So that is the Radburn idea. So napapansin ninyo, meron kang mga, sandali lang. Natayo. You see this one? This one segment? Kaya ka meron tinatawag na cul-de-sac. See, pag pumasok ako dyan, iikot yung sasakyan ko, meron akong cul-de-sac. Correct? And then, yung road na yan, doon nakakonekta yung mga kabahayan na malalaki. Walang fence. Okay? Sa Amerika, uso yung malaking subdivision, yun lang external na fence. Pero once na nakapasok ka na sa road, ang mga kapitbahay mo, wala kayong designation kung hanggang saan yung mga lote ninyo. It is considered as open space around your houses. Okay? So, kapag may tanim ka na apple grow, wala kang bakod eh. So, kahit sino pwedeng pumunta at mamuha, manungkit doon, blah blah blah. Okay, so that's Radburn idea. Again, it created what we call neighborhood unit. Ito na nga. Okay, isipin nyo na lang yung mga subdivision, may neighborhood store, may neighborhood church, may neighborhood school, and everything. That's what we call planned unit development or neighborhood unit. Means you can go to other areas within 10 to 15 minutes. Okay, by walking. So that's the principle. You don't have to travel very far. All of your needs are within a small community within walking distance. Okay, and sometimes the center of the development is the elementary school. Okay, so Clarence Perry, 1921. Okay, now we go, because of that, community development, pansinin ninyo guys, we started with the evolution of the house. And we go to the master development plan. The Garden City Beautiful movement up to regional city planning, regional planning. Then we go by the City Beautiful movement, then we go by the neighborhood. Then now how comes with the modern planning. We have to be very happy because one of the great architects that we have is actually a planner, so Le Corbusier. They reduce the Radiant City, which is a city of towers and everything, blah blah blah, has become the blueprint for UAE development. Okay? Even Qatar having this. Ibig sabihin, vertical urbanism means yung tore na yan, lahat ng kailangan mo, social space, whatever, garden, nangyayari na ngayon yun. Okay, lahat nandun na. Okay, hindi mo na kailangan lumayo, nasa tower ka na lang, di ba? So that is actually coming from the idea of Le Corbusier. Okay? So you have this radiant city that contains everything. Prefab, high density skyscraper, means madaling i-build using Cartesian grid system. So the city is now intended to become a living machine. Bakit living machine? Because you have systems of sanitation, systems of plumbing, systems of energy and everything, electronic, blah, blah, blah. All are in system, pipe systems, connected to each other. Okay? So just imagine that kind of city, that kind of big development. Isipin nyo kung gaano kadaming planners ang kailangan. And architects are one of the prime professional to do it. Okay? The plan. So the radial city provides residents with better lifestyle choices. Okay? Kung lahat maganda, okay, connected by transits and everything, blah blah blah. Okay? Itong pinagkaiba nila ni Howard. Le Corbusier, para sa kanya, ang solution doon sa overpopulation, overcrowding, is not to build out horizontal development. Para sa kanya is vertical development. Kaya napataasan ngayon ng di ba? Skyscraper. Ang pinakamataas na building ngayon?
Yung bago.
Yung sa kapitbahay natin, di ba? Burj Khalifa. Tama?
Hindi.
Kasi yung sa Jeddah, ginagawa pa lang yun.
Yun yung explanation.
Masyadong ambisyoso ang Saudi ngayon. Sure, kaya naman nila. So that is the radial city, okay? So, di ba yung unity rehabilitation? Sa kanya ngayon, vertically, it can accommodate around 2,700 inhabitants. Okay? Eh kung may 1 kilometro ka ba naman kasing taas ng Burj Khalifa, multiply mo lahat yun, ilang mga tao ang kaya niyang i-house. But the problem here is, afford ba ng mga tao? So those are the kind of developments. So then you have this, yes, unity habitation. So it's a capsulized idea of a log house and then stuck together in one building. Okay. So then muna nag-start yung kanyang idea about the vertical city. 1946 to 52. Modular housing. Meaning, pag sinabi modular housing, prefab. Yung mga nagtatrabaho sa prefab companies, yan. Modular housing units, panel by panel, tapos modular system and everything, blah blah blah. Gets? Okay. Kasi ngayon, kailangan mabilisan. Alam nyo ba, hindi lang ngayon tungkol sa mabilisan. Pag-aana ng building. Makakakita na kayo ng mga external na mga walls, hindi na block. Gypsum na, fiber sand. Okay? So that's how it's very developed right now. Okay. So it's still an idea of how to better house people. Okay, so radial city to the habitation. Ito lang yung na-realize na city ni Le Corbusier na itayo, yung Chandigarh. Okay? Sabi ko nga sa inyo, yung mga estudyante ni Le Corbusier, si Balakrishnan Doshi, sa estudyante niya yon, so became one of the great architects in India. And then you have Charles Correa, okay, in the likes of Sri Lanka and everything. Marami siyang mga naging estudyante. Then Brazil. It was designed primarily by Lucio Costa and the buildings are being designed by Oscar Niemeyer. So ito yung itsura nyo. Parang ano sa tingin nyo? Itsura na ibon. Okay? So one axis is for the government and the other axis is for... Okay, meaning yung itong wing na ito is for government and civic purpose. And then yung isang wing naman ay para sa commercial residential development. So ganyan nila yan design. So ayan ang itsura niya ngayon through satellite imaging. See? So that is a new city, Brasilia. Okay? So master plan by Lucio Costa. Okay, so that's how it looks here. Okay, aerial view. And then you have Australia, Canberra, same. So you have the axis here, okay, and then the other, one long street and one long street here. Okay, so it's a pyramid. So triangular formation of very important civic buildings like Court of Justice, Parliament House, and the Capitol building. It is based on the principles of City Beautiful movement.
US Capitol.
Okay guys, pag nag-uusap na tayo, pag sinabi ko na, oh, Garden City, oh, City Beautiful movement, dapat aware na kayo, ano yung ibig sabihin nyo. Okay? So ito sabi niya, it was created on the principles of City Beautiful movement. So now we have this contemporary idea, si Lolo Frank Lloyd Wright, nagkaroon din siya ng idea, pero sa kanya horizontal development, Broadacre City. Okay? So, para sa kanya, para daw ma-access mo ang mga area na yan, you need to own an automobile. Alright. So, just imagine, kung meron akong malaking shopping mall, ang laki-laki ng aking parking, so puro lahat sasakyan. So, napakainit, urban heat island, correct? Alright. So bagay, ano sa tingin ninyo? Kailan na mayagpag si Lolo Frank? 1940s, 1930s to 1960s, 70s. Okay, mga uso nga talaga noong araw na yon. Puro mga shopping mall na pagkalaki-laki tapos ang laki-laki ng parking. So pag nawala ng mga sasakyan, ayan, mainit lahat, di ba? O, tinanggal ang mga vegetation and everything. So hindi nila na-realize yun noong araw. Wala pang green movement. Pero may Garden City na, di ba? Nakita nila importante vegetation. So now, meron din siyang counterpart ito vertical. Ito, Mile High Tower. Ibig sabihin, 1 kilometro daw. At ilan ang conversion ng 1 mile sa kilometer?
1 mile.
1 kilometer is 2.2 ba? Miles? O 1.5? Blah blah blah.
1 kilometer, 1,000 meters.
1 mile. Ilan sa
1 mile. Ilan yun? In kilometers. Check. Napaka-importante talaga yung mga conversions guys.
2 kilometers.
1.6. 1 mile is
0.9.
1.6.
0.9. Okay, 0.9. Correct? Okay. Gano'ng kataas ang Burj Khalifa?
1 kilometer.
Ilang metro?
828
Hello?
828 meters.
828. Sabi nyo kanina 0.9. Yung 1 mile, correct? So ibig sabihin halos, nagkatotoo ang sinabi ni Frank Lloyd Wright. We can have almost a tower which measures 1 mile. And it's happening now. Okay? So lahat, ayan, ganyan, blah 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 blah. So, para sa kanya, kung meron daw 10 piraso ng Mile High Tower, lahat daw ng mga building sa Manhattan, isla yun ha, guys, sa New York. Manhattan is an island. Okay. Kaya daw, maging inhabited ng mga tao. Okay, yun lang yun. Actually guys, sa principle ng sustainability, kung gusto mo mas maging sustainable yung area mo, mas damihan mo yung vertical. Bakit? Kasi hindi mo i-develop yung horizontal. Kasi the moment na dinevelop mo horizontally, mas maraming concrete surface. The more na maraming concrete surface, mas maraming heat. Gets natin to ha? Okay. So, kung mako-conserve natin by far, floor area ratio, pataas lahat, ibig sabihin yung area na supposed to be future development mo, green pa yun. So, ano yan? Ibig sabihin, sustainable pa siya. Okay? Then you have the linear city. Okay, nulit lang natin. Elongated urban formation by Spanish Arturo Soria Mata. 30 mile yun. Yung haba ng isang linear city. Okay? Then radical urban movement, archaeology, Paulo Soleri, which now is happening. Ginagawa na ng Saudi, yung kanyang the line dati is 200 something, ngayon ilang kilometro na lang, correct? Okay. Pero prototype lang naman daw yun, sabi blah blah.
So,
Okay, now arcology means wherever, either undersea, outside of the space, we can actually have housing or human settlement wherein it can control power, climate control, food production, air and water purification, sewage treatment. You know, guys, there was one study, yung International Space Station sa labas, ISS, nakapagpabunga na sila ng potato doon. Yeah. Now it's happening.
The Martian.
Now it's happening. There is another movie, The Martian. Correct? Diba? That's another idea. Okay. Then you have this Masdar City, sustainable city. Okay? Designed by Fosters and Partners. Zero carbon, zero waste.
Oxygen.
It happened. Constructed na yan. Nandun na siya. It's another arcology project. Crystal Island in Moscow and everything, blah 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 blah, wind turbines and everything. Okay. Then you have the Motopia, okay, by Edgar Chambers. Pero you know guys, all of these ideas, ngayon medyo we are moving away from that. By the way, uso na ngayon sa Pilipinas ang electric vehicles. So, meaning may mga electric vehicle charging stations. Okay? So, hindi pa rin talaga totally mawawala ang automobile. Okay? Madami pa rin daan ang kailangan gawin para doon. Dadagdagan lang natin ang So, tinatry lang natin maging renewable ang energy source ng electricity na sinusupply natin para i-charge yung sasakyan. Ang charging ng isang sasakyan ay umaabot ng 6 hours. Pero it can cover around 300 kilometers ang isang charge. So kung ako ay mag-travel from Manila going to Pangasinan, yung isang charge ko, kaya niya yun. Okay? So ayun. So also we had before a metabolism movement by Japanese architectural movement. Okay? Capsulized, which is ginawa nila sa Singapore. May ganyan din sila. Okay, capsulized lahat. So prefab and everything, blah blah blah. So it's actually pwede kang maglagay ng mga kapsula habang dumadami yung population mo na gusto mag-avail ng building na yan. Okay? And then you have the Marine City and everything, blah blah blah. Okay? The city itself is not anchored on land. It's actually floating by the sea. The moment na nagluma siya, it will sink down. Okay, just imagine how we dispose those kind of cities, no? So we are actually creating marine litters. Okay, ganun ba kalalim? So sige, ilagay nila sa mga bang tawag dito? Philippine Trench, dyan nila ilagay para pagka nag-sink, halos hindi mo na nakikita kung nasaan yung mga yan.
Goodbye, Philippines.
Artificial island being done by Dubai as well. Yung mga the world, tama? Ayan. If it is become too aged, the habitation would sink itself. Yan ang sabi niya. Okay. The floating city and everything, blah blah blah. The Barbican City, 63-acre area. Planned unit developments. Okay, that is only yung sa Dubai halos binebenta ng pagkamahal-mahal, di ba? Hindi kaya ng karaniwang tao lahat yun. So, now we will go to other contributions made by other urban theorists. So you have this French contribution, kay Gebes, no? The town planning. Okay? You have organism, function, environment, rolled into one. So when you are planning daw a city, needs to become social, physical, and economical. So via the citizen revolution movement. Okay, and then you have the German contribution, decentralized planning. Ibig sabihin ng decentralized planning, hindi lahat ng mga development ay nanggagaling sa mismong national government. So sa case ng Pilipinas, ibig sabihin, hindi lahat galing sa Malacanang. So ngayon, meron kasi tayong batas, Republic Act, yung local government code. Means, kinreate yung batas na yon is devolution of services. Meaning, ang mga cities and towns, pwede silang magdesisyon accordingly kung paano nila i-develop yung mga areas nila. Kung anong pangangailangan. Kasi sila ang mas nakakaalam kung anong mga pangangailangan ng kanilang constituent. So zoning was conceived in Germany in the late 19th centuries, and it was a borrowed idea by planning movement in the US. So dinevelop lang ni US ang planning, pero actually zoning came from Germany first. Okay? Then we have here Scandinavian. Okay? Ito naman, ang kanilang development hindi pa ikot. Kumbaga, it goes like a finger. Yun, nakita nyo naman yung idea. Okay? So they are planning their cities that way. So finger plan in Copenhagen, it's more of a transport corridor. Okay. Alam nyo ba na ang Qatar have a plan to create another 54 stations ng tren. Okay? If it is connected with each other, then definitely all of those stations will be having its own community, which we call transit-oriented development. Means, development of buildings are actually anchored to the station. So that's why transit-oriented development. Okay. So that's how it's coming to be. So these finger plans developed over 60 years. So we can say that all of this development that happens in Middle East have origin from the Scandinavian idea, transport corridor. Okay, and then that is all of this from Netherlands, polycentric metropolis with the different functions. Like for example, if you're going to government offices, you need to go to Hague. Nandun yung ICC, kung saan nandun si ating President Duterte. Kasi puro mga government yon, mga judiciary and everything. Pag tungkol naman sa mga port marine services, you go to another city, Rotterdam. If it is about banks, finance, retail, punta ka sa Amsterdam. So ibig sabihin, bawat city nila ay may kanya-kanyang function. Doon ka pupunta. So hindi ibig sabihin na kunwari, I have Makati. Meron akong mall, meron ako doon, and everything, blah, 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 blah. And then makikita ko rin siya doon sa Clark. Walang ganun. So kung gusto mo mag-shopping sa isang lugar ka lang pupunta. Okay? Ayun. So that's how it is. So it's a city that is polycentric, metropolis with its own different functions. And United States is yung mga studies na, like regional science, citizen participation, mga planning, ad hoc, and everything, blah, blah, blah. Okay. So that's how it is. So ngayon, sa Pilipinas, pre-colonial, ang ating mga ninuno, ano ba ang nalalaman nyo sa history natin? Sino yung mga unang settlers natin? Negrito, correct? Aita. Second, mga Indonesia. Tama ba? Tama? Okay. And then, sumunod ay Malay. Tama? Okay. Alam niyo yung istorya ng 10 dato na nakarating sa Pilipinas, na siyang nakabalangay sila, at ang una nilang settlement na napuntahan ay yung sa Antique. Okay. Eventually, naghiwa-hiwalay sila, yung ibang mga dato nakarating ng Butuan, yung ibang dato nakarating ng Batangas, yung ibang dato nakarating ng Dagupan, and everything blah blah blah, at nag-start ang mga settlement doon. Okay. Before sila nakarating sa Pilipinas, itong mga datong ito ay nagsialis mula doon sa imperyo ng Srivijaya. Okay, sa Malay Peninsula, because of the malupit nilang emperor. So nagsialis sila. Okay, kaya yung Visayas actually is a remnant of a previous civilization or empire na nilayasan ng mga dato. Gets? Okay, so yun yung reason. Now, in the history of the Philippines, itong mga Malay na ito, before na dumating ang mga Kastila, okay, in the Philippines, ay meron na tayong kultura, meron na tayong way of town planning. Do you know that our ancestors even know how to create jewelries out of gold? Dinatnan tayo ng mga Kastila na meron tayong industriya ng ginto. And do you know that ang mga gintong ito, as a culture, okay, as a culture, kapag nilagay mo sa ngipin mo ang mga ginto o gold implements, ibig sabihin ikaw ay napakayaman. Ayan, napakayaman mo. Okay. Ngayon, mga archaeologists natin sa Pilipinas, nakakahukay sila ng mga bungo, ng mga ninuno natin na may mga gold implements. Ibig sabihin, nadatnan tayo ng mga Kastila na meron tayong mayamang kultura. Hindi totoo na primitibo ang ating pamumuhay ng panahon na nadatnan tayo ng mga Kastila. Okay? So gets? Tas ang paglilinaw ko ha, hindi tayo primitive. We have a very rich culture. We have our own way of town planning. Ang pangalan natin, Banwa. Okay? Ang mga pinuno ng mga panahon na yon sa mga banwa, ibig sabihin mga town, ang tawag natin mga anak banwa. Okay? So I can actually tell you about this, kasi nire-research ko rin yun. So definitely, that's how it is, our pre-colonial time. So we have an early communities revolving also as well. Napanood nyo ba yung GMA? Meron silang serye ng mga tungkol sa mga dato.
Reporter's notebook.
Basta meron silang serye doon. Totoo yun, yung well-researched yun actually. Okay? So consisting of 30 to 100 families. So during the Spanish colonial times, as I said, we patterned our planning because of the regulations set by King Philip through the Law of Indies in 1573. Okay, so we have all of the plazas surrounded by important buildings, the church, the municipio, the marketplace, or palengke. The word palengke, by the way, palengke is a Mexican term. There is a place we call it Palenque in Mexico. Okay, it is actually like an agora. Okay. Then we have elementary school and also the homes of principalia. Sino yung mga principalia? Principalias are those hacenderos, encomenderos, and everything blah blah blah.
Kaya nag-give ka doon.
By the way, Gobernador Silio is actually mayor sa atin nung araw. Ngayon, di ba, pag sinabi mong gobernador, probinsya ang tawag, di ba? So, I don't know, inaalam ko pa paano nangyari nagkabaliktad kasi ang gobernador Silio sa atin nung araw ay mayor ng bayan. Okay. Alright, so that's it. Then the American period, of course, diniscuss natin yung community development as early 1920s, dinala niyan sa Pilipinas. Okay, by the way, when we have been colonized by the American, we are actually first, ang mga presidente noon, they said, you need to educate Filipinos. Kaya meron tayong Thomasites. Thomasites are English teachers. Okay? And then of course, because they have seen that our country is a tropical country, then they have devised Gabaldon. Gabaldon is ang uri ng mga school buildings na nakataas sa lupa. And then you have this capiz shell, mga bintana to let the air in. Tama? Kasi mainit nga. Even ng mga Thomasites noon, nakabarong na rin. Linya ng mga suot nila kasi para yung pagpapawis nila hindi masyadong maalinsangan. Kasi nga yung klima natin eh. So there is a system of building that came from the US which actually evolved because of the climate conditions we had. Okay. So lahat ng mga gabaldon, ng mga itsura, ng blah blah blah, ng mga buildings natin, even up to the town hall and everything blah blah blah, emanates from there. Kaya meron tayong tinatawag na heritage You know, that part of our heritage building, yung mga gabaldon. It was fully documented sa sa Pilipinas. How it was created and okay? And kasabay na dumating ng mga Thomsite, ng mga teachers, sila Daniel Burnham, mga planners and everything. Ang una nating DPWE secretary ay isang Amerikano. Okay. So, lahat ng mga infrastructure natin, magmula sa pagpapagawa ng luneta and everything, even lahat ng mga sanitation, mga sewerage plant and everything, blah 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 blah. Malaki naman ang naging ambag ng mga Amerikano, actually. Pero nga, at isa sa mga emphasis dyan, ayun na nga, sanitation, housing, functional improvements and everything. Dahil may nangyaring issue na yung Intramuros noong araw mayroong communal toilet. Anong ibig sabihin? Ang mga tao pupunta sa sa mga toilets, nakahilera na mga toilet. Nagets nyo, walang sari-sariling toilet ang mga bahay. Kahit na nasa city na nakatira noong araw. Kaya nagkaroon ng epidemya. So that's why, noong mga panahon na yon, nagkaroon ng epidemya sa Pilipinas, kaya nagkaroon tayo ng panahon ng mga Amerikano, nagkaroon tayo ng plumbing law. Doon na-create yung plumbing law natin na ang bawat bahay kailangan sanitary and everything, blah 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 blah. All goes with it. Okay? So, those are the notable planners sa Pilipinas, designing the Manila and Baguio, alongside designing Chicago, San Francisco, and Washington, D.C. We have to be very proud of this. When the Americans are planning their big cities, they are designing it alongside our cities. Kaya nga dapat natin buhayin at balik ang ganda ng Maynila ng araw. Okay, kaya yun yung ginagawa ni Yorme. Okay? Making Manila great again. Okay. So now you have the Burnham Plan. Of course, you know, it fronted the Manila Bay because it's a large body of water. Napakaganda talaga ng Manila Bay. Ang ating sunset sa Manila Bay is one of the best. Okay, pero ngayon ay tatakpan na ng reclamation. Dami-dami ng islang ginagawa ngayon doon. At yun yung sinasabi ni Sir na paborito niyang si Palapok. Isa sa mga designer noon. Okay. So this is Manila. In accordance with the principle of City Beautiful movement. Right? And American period, kilala lang ang Intramuros sa center of city, but of course there are other precinct there. Binondo, Tondo, Santa Cruz, Malate, Ermita, Paco, Pandacan, and the population that time 190,000 people. So during that time in the American period, we call these places as suburban. What do you mean by suburban? Suburban means it is actually sitting beside the main urban area in between the rural. Okay? Yun yung suburban. So, itong mga lugar na ito, na suburban na ito, yung Quiapo, tinitirhan ng mga ilustrado, ibig sabihin mga aral sa Europa and everything, and claim to rich and the powerful, yung Quiapo. E ngayon, pumunta ka ng Quiapo, ano makikita nyo doon? Correct? Okay. Binondo is actually a trading port between Chinese and the Arabs. Okay? Ngayon, sa Binondo, anong pinakasikat? Chinatown and everything, blah blah blah. Okay, Santa Cruz is a main commercial district with shop, movie houses, restaurant. Okay? O ngayon, puro mga residential na mga luma ang nandoon sa Santa Cruz. San Nicolas, commercial district with factories, ceramics, soaps and everything, blah blah blah. San Miguel, these are the rest houses for the Spanish government. Just imagine guys, Malate, San Miguel, Ermita, these are all like Boracay nung araw. White ang sun dyan. Okay? So now, you see, rest houses, summer resorts. The time na hindi pa kilalang red light district ang Ermita, it's one of the summer resort getaway. Okay? Beautiful beach houses are there. Then Paco is actually where the train station, the first town built train station, so transit-oriented development. And Pandacan is an oil depot for Americans. So nga, tatanggalin na nila doon dahil nga medyo delikado dahil Pag may nangyari doon, binomba tayo ng mga kalaban natin, mga Chino,
Tay.
okay, maraming matatama.
Kali-kali.
So during the later suburbanization, Quezon City is the new capital city based on the idea of Burnham, Daniel Burnham. Okay, and this is the batas ng batas 457. They have created a capital, taking it out from Diliman, almost like 1,572 hectares, and the master development that was completed by these people. From Harry Cross, Louis Cross, Williams, and our own Juan Arellano. So the planners, okay, they said it become a plan 7 times grander for Quezon City and the City Beautiful Movement principle. But I'm going to tell you that it's just a portion of almost like 30% lang ang naganap dyan sa Quezon City Circle. Kung natuloy noon, sabi nga ni Paulo Alcazarin, kung tinuloy nila lahat ng mga planong ito mula sa Luneta hanggang sa Quezon City, napakaganda ng Maynila. Wala tayong urban sprawl. Wala tayong urban blight. Okay? And then, yes, as a reference point, akala nyo napakalaki na ng Quezon City? No. The original plan is much larger than that. Okay? Okay, so that's it. And then, nagkaroon na tayo ng mga subdivision. Ang tawag dyan, Philippine Homesite Housing Corporation, Pilam Life Homes, blah blah blah. And it is being designed by our architects, Carlos Arguelles. Napakadami. Even this one, Pilam Life Homes, has been demolished na already. It is based on California suburban development. Kanina pinakita ko sa inyo yung mga new communities, dinala yan sa Pilipinas. Kung ano itsura doon sa Amerika, ganun din sa atin. Okay, and then, kay ako man ko yung Bliss. Sino nang nasubukang tumira sa Bliss? Nakita nyo yung mga lumang building doon? Mga Bliss, mga tenement house. Okay? Ito yung mga housing development na in-implement ni dating Pangulong Ferdinand Marcos Sr. So, medyo napabayaan ito. Then we have Central Business District, is Manila, CBD, blah blah blah. Manila CBD before was the Escolta, and then Makati CBD is an area, Talahiban, pero you know it was being developed by the Ayalas. By the way, the first company of the Ayalas was first established in Poblacion, Makati, along the river of Pasig River. Okay. Yang nakikita ninyong Ayala ngayon ay dating Talahiban, which is Burol Hill Station. Okay. Yung bahay nila dati ng mga Ayala doon sa JP Rizal na yon, sa may banda ng Makati, west side ng Pasig River, Poblacion, kung nasaan yung museo ng Makati, yung part na yon, ang dating kinatatayuan ng lumang bahay ng mga Ayala. Okay? And then, now you have Makati. This is a hill station, purely adobe. Okay, napakatibay ng ano niya, ng lupa dyan. Hindi mo kailangan maglagay ng pagkalalaking mga pilote, kaya yung mga building dyan, kayang tumayo ng mas matataas. Okay? Sa area na yan. You have the Ortigas CBD by the Ortigas Group, 1950s and fully developed in 1980, 600 hectares. Then you have the Aranetas for Cubao CBD. Okay, kung nasaan yung Araneta Coliseum. Okay? And then it's ongoing redevelopment and gentrification. Pag sinabi natin gentrification, ito yung pagpapanibagong bihis ng area na dating pangit, na dating nabuo, naging urban blight, tapos nire-develop ulit. Nung nire-develop siya ulit, katulad ng idea ni City Beautiful Movement, na mga mayayaman ang pumasok, then definitely yung mga dating nakatira doon, na-relocate. Kasi hindi na nila kaya eh. Binili na ng mga developers and everything. Ngayon, kung gusto mong tumira dito, you have to pay a price, correct? I developed the area. So that's what you call gentrification. That is what is happening with Ramsey alongside the Poblacion. That's gentrification. Alright guys, so I think una lang. Ano pa lang pala to? Slide 1 pa lang. Ano sa tingin nyo? Madali ba planning? Okay. Ano pa ba? Okay, sige. Try natin yung slide 2. Total hanggang alas 12 naman ako. Okay. Before tayo pumunta sa slide 2, what do you realize? Mga arkitekto ba kaya maging planner?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Yes.
Just imagine, origin of the house, from oikos to domus, up to big regional planning. Kung dati, we are just thinking about the comfort of homes. Now we are going to do planning, comfort of cities. So you can actually do a lot. You can design a bridge, you can design civic centers, plaza, everything, blah blah blah, from urban design to urban plan. Gets? Okay ba tayo? Okay tayo ha? Okay. And ngayon guys, ito yung sinasabi ko kay Ruel, kay Romel, kay Architect Romel. Pag binigyan ko kayo ng slide, tapos babasahin nyo lang ang sarili nyo to. Okay. So, yun ang issue natin. Okay? Okay, let's see kung saan tayo umabot.
Pwede, sir.
Okay pa ba kayo? O ayaw nyo na? Overload na ba? Ay, sorry po.
Thank you.
Okay, now. Sige. Since alam nyo na ang history and theories and urban theories, pwede na natin laliman. So kapag ka, hindi ko na-explain kung ano yung mga ibang idea. Okay. Let's see. We are now going into urban plan needs. Okay. Sa Pilipinas, pag sinabi natin environmental planning means it's the same with urban and regional planning, it's the same with city planning, it's the same with town and country planning, and it's the same with housing settlement planning. Means, as an environmental planning is a multidisciplinary art. Mag-a-analyze ka, mag-survey ka, mag-specify ka, mag-clarify ka, mag-harmonize, i-manage mo lahat, regulate the development, land and water resources, and everything blah 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 into what? Sustainable communities and ecosystems according to this batas. Okay, RA 10587, that is the law for environmental planning. So, once naging ENT ka, magiging lawyer ka, magiging civil engineer ka, everything blah 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 blah. More than sa pagiging arkitekto mo. Okay. So, when we say environmental, now, may bagong dimension na kailangan tingnan, environment. Okay? Hindi lang habitation, kundi how it actually interact and integrate into the natural environment. So, scope of practice niyan is development of community, town, city, and region, and how to develop a site in accordance with a particular need for housing and education, etc., etc. Pagka social services, guys, when we are talking about social services, we are talking about needs for education, needs for health, needs for protection services, mga police station, mga fire station, lahat yan, social yan. And then you have others. Okay? Basta lahat ng pangangailangan ng mga tao doon. Then, we are actually developing this site using the land use and zoning plans. Okay, sa mga probinsya ninyo, sa mga cities and municipalities ninyo, meron tayong tinatawag na CLUP-CDP. Ano yun? CLUP-CDP is a book that is being presented by your municipality, comprehensive land use plan, which is a projection of a certain city or municipality, how it will look like 20 years after. Okay, and then along with that side, that CLUP is actually yan yung political. Ibig sabihin, kailangan i-approve ng inyong sangguniang bayan. Okay. Once na naka-ordinansa yan, kapag may lumabag dyan, ayan, may penalty. Oh, bakit ka na gano? Ba't ito area na to, base sa CLUP natin, agricultural, nagpatayo ka dyan ng skyscraper, o ibig sabihin, violation, o penalty ka, o demolish mo yung building mo kasi hindi na ano yung CDP? CDP is a combination of 5 sectors. Social sector, environmental, and then you have economic sector, and then you have institutional sector, and the other one is, nakalimutan ko.
Industrial.
Social, economic, environmental, institutional, basta may isa pa.
Recreation.
Ha?
Industrial?
Industrial.
Ay, hindi mo paano yun?
Baka recreation.
Infrastructure.
Infrastructure.
Alright? Yan, yung 5 na yan. Okay. So lahat yan, ano man ang nakalagay sa CLUP mo, base sa kulay ng mapa ng mga land use and everything, pagta-translate nyo sa CDP, mas malalim na pag-aaral na, okay, bakit lumaki? Bakit na-convert ng 30% yung agricultural into commercial? Kasi ganito, ito yung nangyari. I-explain ng CDP sa dalawang document. Ang paggawa nito, ng mga dokumentong ito, umaabot ng 3 taon. So kung ako ang mayor, at kailangan kong i-revisa, tapos na yung termino ko, di ba natatapos yung CLUP tsaka CDP?
Sir, pero ang CLUP po every year meron. Tama po ba? Ang CLUP every year po nire-revise?
Hindi. Okay. We can revise them midterm. Okay. Normally, we have around mga 9 years.
Nandun din po kasi yung mga proposed project sa CLUP.
Ano no?
Nandun din po yung mga proposed project.
Exactly. Mga propose, mga nakaplantilla. Kaya nga pagka inaral ninyo yung planning guys, paano ba pinaprioritize sa mga project? Paano po pondohan? Saan kukuha ng pondo? Paano yung era allotment? Okay? Ayun. Malalim na yun guys. So, ganun yun. So, mahirap maging politiko din. Kasi maraming naglalabanan na pupunta doon sa munisipyo at naglalabi ng kanilang mga proyekto. Iba-iba. Okay? So, pwedeng i-revise yung CLUP midterm. Okay. So, kung yung full term is 9, so midterm pwede. So, kapag nakikita mo na hindi mo makukuha ang target mo, adjust mo yun. So, the scope of practice is pre-investment, pre-feasibility, and feasibility studies. You're going to do it. Then the urban design is, as I said, is a physical improvement. And then the urban planning is the skeleton, the management of all of those planning methods and programs. Urban is about, build up. Okay, large city, significant developed area. When you say rural, blah, 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 yan. Medyo dense, okay, rural. Okay, so region, what do you mean by region? Is actually a conurbation of urban areas. Okay, so that's region based on natural, physical, economic, political, blah, blah, blah. Okay, and it actually linked by economic. Okay. One of the big factors of economic linkage is the road. Pero ngayon, iba na. You can do business using electronic. Pwede ka na lang work from home, correct? You don't need the road. Then, functional region, geographical, meaning geographical area, hanggang saan yung boundary nitong region na sinasabi natin in real space. Economic, natural, and urban region. Okay. So types of region, you have natural, okay, means biodiversity. Sabi ko nga guys, pagka na kayo, nag-urban plan na kayo, hindi na building din ang pag-uusapan. Pati mga habitats ng flora and fauna and everything, wildlife, everything, blah, blah, blah. Kasama na yon. Because you need to also protect the environment. So you have the bioregion, connectedness of the life forms and species, ecoregion, means the ecosystems. You have urban ecosystems and rural ecosystems. And then you have the historic region based on the heritage of the historical past, history of the certain area. Okay? So urban planning terms, you have urban renewal. Okay. The Mushroom is an example of urban renewal. Okay. Adaptive reuse. Ano bang adaptive reuse dito?
Supwaki.
Ned Doha, alam niyo yung Ned Doha?
Danen.
Yung hotel dyan, yung Ned Doha. Ano yan? Yung building na yan, lumang building ng administrative. Ginawa nilang hotel. That's adaptive reuse. Okay? Hindi mo gigibain. Aayusin mo lang, and then, oo, lalagyan mo lang siya ng isang klase ng activity na mas less ang traffic, less ang use. Kasi hindi niya nakakayanin kung katulad pa ng dati. Okay? And then rehabilitation means i-redecorate, repairing, blah blah blah. Invasion means, yun na nga, gentrification. Okay, dati kang nakatira doon, yung nag-develop na at nagkaroon ng napakaraming development, o isa ka sa mga pinalayas doon. So that's invasion ng bagong population, okay? Means, yung mahogany na puno, kasi sabi ko nga, biodiversity na tayo. Hindi siya endemic sa Pilipinas, hindi siya local plant. Pero dumami sa area. That's invasion. Okay? Alright? Invasive species. Okay? Then you have blackbusting, forcing the old population out the area because of social and racial differences. Like what happened to the homestead. Mga area ng mga taga doon sa Mindanao, na napalaya sila doon kasi may bago ng population na in-introduce doon to come up with the food production. That is blockbusting. Centralization means central, city land, and everything blah 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 as a geographic center. Noong araw, ang sentro ng pamumuno ay nakasentro sa Intramuros. That's centralization. When we say decentralization means, ngayon, ang ibang government offices natin nakalocate sa Quezon City. So hindi lahat, kung lahat ng tao para magpunta na kasi-kasuyin ng mga dokumento nila, lahat pupunta ng Maynila, just imagine the traffic. Okay? Pagpunta mo pa nga lang sa Maynila, halos kalahating araw na, di ba? Okay? Ayun. Gentrification means ang pagbabagong bihis ng lugar. Kung dati ay residential siya, ngayon ay puro na lang mga business and everything. Noong araw guys, nag-aaral ako sa Makati High School. Yung poblasyon na yan, ang area na yan, puro mga lumang bahay, mga American period. Yung mga bahay ngayon, ayan, na mga American period, it was adaptive reuse to become restaurants and discos and pubs and everything. So just imagine how it's becoming, no? Because of what? Because of urbanization. That some of these areas that happens to be, sana binabalanse natin, it becoming an urban. Just imagine, if I have an urban zone and I have a suburban and I have the rural, what happens when the urban becomes developed and developed? That eventually the suburban becomes urban. And the rural now, may panibagong circle na naman, suburban. Lumalayo ng lumalayo. And that's what happened. Bacoor is now an urban. Imus is now an urban. Dasmariñas is now an urban. Nasa ng suburban? Nasa ng linya ng suburban? Baka nasugbo.
Madeo.
Ang kalayo naman, kung magtatrabaho ako sa Ayala, biruin mo yung travel time ko. Correct? Alright, so that's the point. So now you have to plan it. O paano ka makakarating sa Ayala within 1 hour if you are living in Nasugbu, if you're living in Rosario, okay? In General Trias, or maybe Tansa, Cavite. Yeah. How are we going to do it? So that's planning. Okay. So this is the full picture of the urbanization. Almost 77% is now becoming urban. And there is a big chunk of the finance that needs to be done. Noong araw pa to, Rise of Mega Cities. I believe this is 2022 pa. Okay? by 2025, last year, there will be 36 megacities in the world. Okay? Kasama na ang Manila doon. Okay? Manila is a megacity. So this is what is happening. Okay? As you can see, if we are going to record from 1987 to 1999 to 2013, lalo na ngayon 2025, just imagine how the city is growing through the circulation of the roads. Kasi sabi natin, rectilinear, the developments are actually going to move. So just imagine you're going to add new roads, and when you add new roads, you're going to add new opportunities to add build-up. Okay. Then eventually, halos hindi mo na makikita yung mga linyang yan, 2025, halos lahat purple areas. At lumalaki yung red areas, correct? Okay. So, this is how urbanization looks like in megacities around the world. In Mumbai, look at this, the peninsula almost taken over by built-up. Just imagine Manila. And then Beijing. Right? The growth of Metro Manila, in 1975, the red areas need to build up, and now you have 1990, 2010, imagine 2025. Okay, now, what happens here? Because of this urbanization in Greater Manila, pag nakita nyo sa satellite, ang itsura ng Laguna Lake, parang kulay brown na. Because you know, the effluent that goes and up to this area is unmanageable. Okay? Kaya nagmamadali sila na magpatayo ng napakaraming sewage treatment plant para i-capture mo na lahat ng mga kung ano-ano doon before i-dispose sa water bodies. Okay, so this is Mega Manila. Okay. Alright, so this is the regional plan. So when we have the center in Metro Manila, we need to create urban expansion in Cavite and Laguna and urban expansion to Bulacan. That's why even the airport right now is in Bulacan. Eventually, yung area ng ano na yun, domestic na lang yun. Or eventually, tatanggalin yun, magiging bagong BGC. Okay? Then, you need to have some regional growth centers like Clark, Cabanatuan, blah blah blah, and then you have Lucena, and then the Batangas area, di pa. Okay, eventually, mga regional centers na yan. O, ngayon, ang Clark, hindi mo nasasabihin regional center. It has become one of the urban expansion. Okay, because of the, ngayon, na matatapos na yung trend. So, halos ma-obliterate mo na yung distansya. Psychologically, hindi mo na malalaman na ang Clark ay napakalayo sa Metro Manila, almost 100 kilometers. But by the train, you can actually travel less than an hour. Nasa Maynila ka na. Okay? So that's how the regional development strategy. So planners like us needs to really think on how we are going to better equip and manage all of this kind of development. Okay? So, as you can see, from Metro Manila, we have 100-kilometer radius of development. So, tingnan ninyo yung probinsya na sakop ng 100-kilometer radius. Kasi ganyan katindi ang paglaki ng population. Ilan ang population ng Pilipino ngayon? Any guess? Guys, you have phones. Check.
150.
Dali nang i-google na yun.
116.8 million.
Ilan?
116.8 million.
116. 116.
Yes, sir.
I thought it's almost like 140 na. Sorry. Inisip ko pa nga to 100. Okay. Kasama na pa pati yung nasa abroad. Ayun. Hindi natin alam. Okay. So, ganyan na kadami. So, napakaliit ng Pilipinas, pero ganyan kalaking population natin. We are one of the world's largest population. So, this is how they are looking at. Okay, so you have the Metro Manila, and then you have the urban center, and all of those sub-regional centers and blah blah blah, etc. etc. Okay? Okay, sige. Ano na, tawag dito, enough na of Metro Manila. You see, sabi ko nga, our urban study has now become larger. It's more of the environment. Ito, Laguna de Bay na ito. Okay. So you have all of the rivers coming from the mountains, all going there in the water body. Okay. The only outlet na nagtatransfer ang water body is through Pasig River. May 6 na buwan na ang tubig mula dito lumalabas ng Manila Bay. Meron din 6 na buwan, pabalik naman din ang tubig from here going there. So kung wala ang Pasig River, then definitely isipin niyo na isang napakalaking cesspool ito. At lahat ng kabuhayan ng mga tao, dyan tayo kumukuha ng mga fishery products. Even the Manila Bay, actually. Okay? So all of those municipalities has something to do. If sabi ko kanina, we are planning through LGUs, cities, and towns, needs to be coordinated with all on how really to protect that watershed. So that Laguna de Bay is actually a watershed. Okay, where water is being contained. Okay. What lessons are we going to do? Because if we're not going to arrest the problem, we will be having such an issue with Aral Sea. You see, in the map 1957, dahil pa ng tubig, hanggang sa mangyari, year 2000, yan na lang ang natitira. Okay? So, alam natin that anything that happens with the eutrophication, it actually affects all the living organisms, even people. Bakit? Kasi pagka namatay ang mga living organisms, ano ang resource? Source of livelihood. Anong kakainin ng mga tao? That's how we are going to compete with resources. Mag-aaway-away ang mga LGUs and towns. Okay? Alright, so this is how it is. This is the vegetation. So kung green pa yan, 1972, yan ang itsura ng 2009, and now, 2025, imagine. Okay?
Grabe.
Same, residential density, ibig sabihin, gaano kadami ang mga nakabuild at yan pinatayo. Mga arkitekto kayo, so padamihan ba kayo ng mga project? Okay, sige, padamihin yung mga project nyo, magdagdag kayo, mag-contribute kayo dito sa residential density. Okay, 1970 to 2008. Okay. So, what are the spatial strategies? So, we are now looking at the plan. Okay, if I have a plan, sandali, puntahan natin yung plan.
Oh my God.
Map. Magmamap muna ako. Ayun, map. Ayan, no? Kailangan ko ng map talaga. Ang dami, no? Ang dami kong...
Sa thesis po.
Ay, naku, ang dami nyo maaralin. Ayan!
Binuluntok
Purong
ng
namin sa
thesis.
Kita nito?
Kasi
So, this is a tool of a planning officer
yung hazard.
in a city. So, lahat ng kulay na yan may meaning. Zoning. Okay. Alright. So, yan lahat ng mga kulay. Okay. So, marami ako nilagpasan, correct?
Pwede
Alright.
mo ma-access sa site.
Ano pangalan?
So, ngayon, ang Pasig, ang Makati, ang Quezon City, pag kinlik nila to,
Hindi kasama.
bawat bloke may information. Ilan ang bahay na nandoon, gaano kamahal yung lote, and
Sobrang
everything.
linaw.
Para, pagka nagbabayad ng mamilya, ng tax assessment, alam na nila kung magkano ang lalagay nila sa resibo, magkano ang babayaran. So, nako-control na nila. So, that's how we are going to plan, guys. As you can see, this is the scope of planning. Okay? Sige. Ano na ba? Time na ba? Yes. Actually, it's time na. Okay. Ganito. Try to read everything. Architect Romel, we're going to overshoot Sunday night para i-discuss yung ibang part ng ano. By Zoom. Okay tayo, guys? Same pa rin. Sobrang dami, guys. Nakita niyo naman kung paano kayo explain sa inyo. Okay? Kasi madami pa tayong dapat aralin. Pakita ko sa inyo yung preview. Ano yung mga importante? Yan, urban form. Importante yan.
Sa inyo, sa inyo.
Then, you have, ito, mga theory. Ano yung concentric, sector, blah, blah, blah. Kailangan ko explain yan sa inyo. Okay? Yan, yung mga ganyan. Ayan no, paano ko explain yan lahat sa inyo?
Ito nga lang.
Puro kayo.
Then mga urban study, like,
Hindi naman kasi pwedeng i-undep na.
yan. Mga theory ito eh. Elements of urban design,
May ano, may
principles of urban design,
iba plotting na lang yung
yan, lahat yan. Okay? Then,
yung katulad sa BGC.
urban
Makati ba yun?
concept,
Makati
may
BGC.
planning
May
unit,
tangki.
development, transit-oriented development, urban, neighborhood TOD, blah 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 blah. Then, eto na, yung T3, T4, T5, T6, street pattern, yung mga sabana, yung kanina tinuturo ko sa inyo,
Airdrop.
yung mga city na yan, na pinag-aralan natin kanina. Okay? So there is actually a formula on this. Okay? Then, ito na, mga criteria for responsive environment, permeability, variety, blah blah blah.
Save mo muna.
Then, ecological
Dun
process.
sa share button. Airdrop.
Direkto.
Okay guys? So napansin niyo kung gaano kahaba ito dapat aralin. Okay, so let's meet on Sunday. Okay? Kasi I believe hindi natin pwedeng hindi aaralin yan. You need to understand. So 7 o'clock, 7 o'clock, papadala ako ng Zoom sa Sunday. So eventually, once na naintindihan nyo na yan, then we can go with planning process. Mabilis na yun, planning process. Paano talaga ang planning. Okay? So yun. So by the way, thank you so much for spending your time and energy and everything, your attention.